Yep.
So that would actually be like a 25% weight loss difference. So it's okay. Whoa. Woo! I need to let this one digest. Okay, that's weird. That's more tender.
Tastes better.
It's ground beef, but it's more tender. This is unbelievable. This is changing my whole world. I'm sorry, I'm just in shock and awe right now that I'm just kind of coming to this conclusion. I knew about the technique, but it was just kind of like, yeah.
Okay, so we are doing some myth-busting ground beef science experiment. Andrew?
Yeah, well, I saw Lauren with the gloves on and I got a little anxious. I thought that it was going to be this was like our honeymoon night again. So.
That's weird.
No, we just practiced. We were cooking that night, so we didn't want cross-contamination.
Yeah.
All right, so last night when I was laying in my X stupor going through my timeline, somebody had asked me a question. They said, should I be using baking soda when I'm cooking my meat? And I remembered, yeah, a lot of people do that. I remember I worked at a hotel 10 or 15 years ago. We were doing a lot of Chinese food cooking, and there's a technique called velveting where you add like cornstarch and baking soda, and you actually coat the meat in it. Sometimes it's egg white too, so when you stir fry it, right, that baking soda is supposed to actually tenderize and break the meat down. And I wanted to just go into a little bit of a scientific analysis here because the idea behind this, all right, is that you add about a quarter, this is the ratio, right? So, and the idea behind this, right? Because it's all about the surface level of the meat. So we figured using ground beef would be great because there's so much surface there in which you can change the pH levels to exhibit whether this works or whether it doesn't work. But the idea is that when you increase the pH level on the meat, all right, the protein bonds cannot be easily made. And those protein bonds, that's the proteins coming together, right? They're squeezing, and when they squeeze and they come together like this, right, and they interlock,
it's like us,
and they go like this, they're getting tough, right?
Oh.
And that's when it's tough.
Never mind.
And when they squeeze so tightly together like that, they're extracting all of the moisture that's otherwise protecting those protein bonds. Think like little water balloons in between all the little protein guys, right? So these are the protein guys, okay? And typically when you cook as they come together like this, and then they really come together and the moisture is released, and you've got dry, moisture-free meat if you're overcooking your meat. So in theory, when you add the baking soda, right, and you raise the pH level, it's much harder for these bonds to come together. So they're like, oh no, we can't do it. Oh, we can't come together. There's baking soda in there. Oh my gosh, no! And they can't come together, and they don't squeeze all that moisture out, right? So you're left with, so two things happen. Because that moisture is not releasing, and when the moisture released, that's what inhibits the browning, because nothing can brown in the presence of steam. Because that moisture is not releasing, you can brown your meat easier, and you also have more tender meat because those bones aren't together like
Oh God.
Okay, so that's the theory behind that. But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna we got 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 pound per plate, obviously. We're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to one of the plates of beef, and then Lauren's gonna mix it up. Vanna White here. Oh yeah, that's good, right? Okay, so now mix that up, get that in there.
This is why I have the gloves on.
Yes, that's not why she had the gloves on our wedding night. That's why she has the gloves on now.
You're making up stories.
Well, no, the reason why is that she made me dye her hair. She wanted blue streaks in her hair.
I thought we were cooking.
When we got married, she was very progressive, so she wanted the blue streaks. And then we went out the next day for a honeymoon, and we were like protesting capitalism around the world.
It was a wild time.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
Okay.
She's changed her ways. So the baking soda's getting in there. What's happening right now with the pH?
Andrew, don't quiz me.
She doesn't even listen to me. She wasn't even listening to me. Where is the pH going up or down?
I don't know.
Did you not even pay attention? That means I'm not doing a good enough job.
No, I'm sure other people will pay attention to you, but I've been married to you forever.
Baking soda, pH rises, the bonds can't come together. What's preventing this from happening?
The baking soda?
Yes.
Okay.
Because why? Okay, so she's mixing that together. Okay, now we're gonna let that sit.
I would have failed this class.
So take those gloves off. I'll just pull this together right here. No baking soda, okay? No salt, no nothing. So it's just 1 pound of meat with baking soda.
Why are you laughing at
me? I'm laughing because you failed my test. Makes me think I'm a horrible teacher. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let these sit for 15 minutes. Okay. And then we're gonna bring it over to the stove, and we're gonna try and cook them in an even environment, right? We're gonna cook them in 2 pans. We're gonna see how long it takes for each one of them to cook, what the browning looks like, as well as how much moisture is left over afterwards, like how much moisture is released. Released. So in theory, the one with the baking soda actually should release less moisture and be browner in the same period of time, whereas the other one might just be like gray meat with a ton of moisture in the pan or after we strain it. In theory, we're gonna see. We're gonna bust this myth, or we're gonna marry this myth.
Marry the what?
We're gonna marry the myth.
Marry the myth.
Marry the myth. We're gonna marry the myth. We're gonna marry the myth, and the myth is.
Just stop.
Okay, 15 minutes. We can do this for 15 minutes.
15 minutes later.
All right, let's go.
All right,
Let's
same
go.
time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So mine is supposed to brown more.
Yours is supposed to brown more and retain
release.
more moisture.
Okay.
See, like mine will start releasing moisture here pretty soon. My ground beef is gonna start wetting itself.
Mine looks a little wet.
That could be fat.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing we want to look out for is mouthfeel, right? So the reason I don't love the velveting technique is, to me, sometimes the mouthfeel can be a little bit slimy, or it's more tender, but it can be a little slimier. Because if you think about it, like changing the pH, that's
Right.
slime. Oh, I'm getting a lot of moisture here.
You're getting more. Well, mine looks like a lot. You said mine could be fat, though? I don't know.
Yeah, I see some in there.
I do, too.
Kids are running around upstairs. They think they're about to get some hamburger helper.
Not a bad idea.
They are. You want to make some tacos with this?
No.
What do you want to make?
I don't know. I mean,
Quesadillas?
nah.
Same amount of time. You want to switch?
No.
You want me to go work your meat?
No.
You want to work my meat?
No.
You sure?
Yes. Why? He never lets me cook my own thing. You see what I'm doing, and you need to take over somehow.
That's not true. I just wanted you to come work my meat.
Ew, babe. It's a family show.
All right,
Okay.
I'm almost fully cooked here.
I know, me too.
Now I'm not too brown.
It looks the exact same to me.
I don't know. Oh no, you got some browning there.
I have some browning for sure, but
Yeah, I don't have any browning. And just kind of like do it that way, yeah. So it's like lean down.
okay.
Now pull all your meat up to the top. Up. That is interesting. Okay, yours has like browner bits.
Yes, I agree with that.
All right, so yeah, yours, look at this, mine's still running.
I mean, so is mine.
Look at that.
Not as. This pan is smaller.
True. Well, we're gonna measure. We're just gonna have to measure. But generally, okay, if we look at the meat, all right, like yours, I will say it looks like yours is browned a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, look.
This is kind of grayer. Yours has a little bit more browning, okay?
Not a ton.
But now, for the true test, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure. Here we go. We're getting seriously scientific here.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'll do is,
Use my beaker.
well, I'm gonna do this first, right? So this is no baking soda. Now I'm gonna get the meat in there too, because we're gonna squeeze out the liquid and see what happens here. You know, somebody in the comment section's like, well,
Technically, according to Dr. Malyard.
okay. So look at that, all right.
Okay. So weird.
And this is the exact same beef, so it's the exact same fat percentage, it's the same everything. So there's no variables there. So let's give this a little go, all right? So what do we got? That's about it, okay?
Okay. Let's pour it in here.
Yep, let's measure it. So what are we at? We're at about 2.
We are at a little over 2 ounces, or just at 2.
Okay, so just about 2 ounces, okay? We're gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna drink that. Now we're gonna take this.
I feel like mine's more.
Okay, let's get that down there. Get some of that in there. I don't want it to go in the bowl.
I get
Hooga loga luga!
I don't think this is gonna work. small bowl anywhere? Here, let's just use the kids. Hold on, watch out.
Oh, you're going
I'm
weight?
I'm going.
She's going.
Getting crazy
She's a
over here.
scientist.
Okay. No.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, though, just
What?
based on what I see, there's a lot less moisture loss from the baking soda.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is at 0. You ready, babe?
Mm-hmm.
This is a true test. It's 2 ounces, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's fat, it weighs different.
Oh,
That's more than 2 ounces.
okay, so this one, 1.48.
1.48 ounces.
Yep,
And this one is over 2 ounces.
yep.
So that would actually be like a 25% weight loss difference. So it's okay. Whoa. Woo! I need to let this one digest.
It's true.
I might. This is crazy.
The myth is not a myth.
The myth, we didn't bust the myth. Method. We didn't bust the myth, we married the myth. So, okay. And I want to do it like, darn it, I wish we had another one of those.
I know.
Let's just do 2 cups that are the same. We have these 2.
No,
We have these really charming cups from.
Are you gonna use my nice cups? It's a different color too.
Because more of the brown, you see what I'm saying? It released the browning.
Interessante.
Okay. So look right there. More, so you lose a lot more moisture when you don't use the baking soda. And the reason why that one's darker as well is because you lose some of the browning that otherwise would be on the exterior of the meat.
Well, there we go.
So the myth is not a myth.
The myth
it's
is
real.
not a myth.
Now for the taste though. Okay, you gotta taste it. So that's no baking soda.
Okay, we're gonna try just a little bit. Ooh.
Wait, not like ground beef? Okay,
Okay.
tastes like ground beef with baking soda. Okay, that's weird. That's more tender.
It tastes
It's
better.
ground beef, but it's more tender. It's not slippery at all. No, that was a vein. No,
Ew. It is better.
it's actually better.
Now you know.
62 years in the restaurant industry, and I'm just figuring this out right now.
Well,
That is unbelievable. Okay, guys, and that one's browner. That one
yeah,
is
compare
browner.
the colors.
Yeah,
Look at that, Andrew.
I know.
Gray, brown.
Yep,
Interesting.
gray and brown.
All right.
Look, that one is browner.
Just a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda just changes your life in the ground beef.
This is unbelievable. This is changing my whole world. I'm sorry, I'm just in shock and awe right now that I'm just kind of coming to this conclusion. I knew about the technique, but it was just kind of like, yeah. That's the thing about chefs or any skilled worker in any industry is you become married to your technique and your style and what you think you know. What you think you know, you don't know. Mm-hmm. There's always room to learn, always room to improve. How am I doing as a husband?
You're amazing.
How do I do? Enough laundry? Like, what would you like me to
Work
do
on
better?
the laundry.
Is it the laundry?
Maybe on mopping the floors a little.
Floors really drive me crazy. I get on my hands. I don't like using mops. I get on my hands and knees.
Okay.
Hands and knees and clean the floor. She treats me like I'm Cinderella, trying to
You just said you like it.
jam a slipper on my foot every day at midnight.
Okay, stop.
All right. So there we go, guys. In conclusion, adding 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to your meat. This was just an experiment with ground beef, so let's just isolate it to this. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda to your ground beef is going to create a juicier, better bite, as well as deeper browning in the same period of time in which you would cook it without the baking soda, which releases more moisture and the meat is less brown.
Perfect.